Hello Grape family. Welcome to another weekly update video. I hope that you're all doing fine. Like every time, let's start with the price of grape. Grape's price is sitting at $0.48. It saw a small run up to almost $0.6 because of the launch of phase 1 of pack campaign. We'll talk about the phase 1 of pack campaign in a bit. With grape, wine also saw a small run up to $53. And right now the price of wine is sitting at $41. After reaching $53, wine saw some few smaller sales. These small sales could be coming from the rebates. I'll discuss that too in a bit. Let's take a look at the price of vintage, which is the game token of the winemaker game. Vintage has been sitting steady at $0.005 for quite some time now. Remember that you don't have to sell all your vintage. Vintage token can be used in the winemaker game and also it can be used to earn wine. The daily APR is sitting at 1%. Next, we will take a look at the NFTs. First up is the winery collection. The floor price of winery collection is sitting at 4.25 AVX. It will be interesting to see how the winery collection performs after the launch of version 2 nodes. Because if you don't know, the version 2 nodes has a different ticket system compared to version 1 nodes. Next up is the winters collection. The floor price of the winters is up from 1.5 AVX and right now it's sitting at 1.95 AVX. If you pay a close attention to the floor price of the winters and the price of vintage, you would notice that both of these move together. If the price of vintage falls, the floor of the winters falls with it, and vice versa. Good news for those who are waiting for the minting of the winters to start. LB previously mentioned that if the demand exceeds the supply, he might start the minting soon. Right now, there are only 29 NFTs listed, so it's a clear sign that the demand is increasing. In the last AMA, LB mentioned that the minting of the winters should start soon. So my suggestion to you all is that pay close attention to the announcements. Let's take a look at how the other parts of the protocol are performing. First up is the wine press. The deposits in the wine press have been improving consistently. During the last update video, we saw that the total deposits was sitting at 8,800 WineMeme LP tokens, and right now it's sitting at 9,400 LP tokens. If you are in the wine press, make sure that you keep a healthy ratio between claim and compound to avoid being assassinated. And if you have some extra grapes, throw them in the lottery pool to buy tickets. It looks like wine press is working perfectly and it should continue to do so for quite some time. Next up is the winemaker game. This game has been helping Grape Finance a lot by burning a lot of grapes. I have a few interesting things to share with you guys regarding the winemaker game, so make sure that you stick around till the end of the video. I'll share those things when I recap the AMA. And lastly, let's talk about the TVL of Grape Finance. Surprisingly, the TVL of Grape Finance has been stable between $3.5 million and $4 million. And as I mentioned previously, TVL should go up once the prices of both the tokens go up. Alright, time to do a quick recap of what was talked in the last AMA. I'm going to divide the recap into 4 parts. First would be the pack campaign, second would be winemaker, third would be version 2 nodes, and lastly, alphas that were shared in the AMA. Firstly, a very important question was asked to LB by a community member. The question was, did LB prefer Vegemite or Marmite? Pause this video and guess your answer in the comment section. LB answered that he preferred Vegemite and has never had Marmite. So yeah, there you go. Okay, moving on. First would be the pack campaign. The pack campaign for Grape Finance has officially started. The pack campaign has been divided into 4 parts, or you could call it 4 phases. Phase 1 is the rebates. Phase 2 will be migration of nodes. Phase 3 is something new and experimental. Phase 3.5 is wine pool. Now you would be thinking, what is wine pool? Worry not, I'll talk about it in a few minutes. Phase 4 or 5 is some extra and small utilities for Grape, all automated. Now, as you know, phase 1 has already started. You can go to this Peg Health campaign and you'll see it will take you to the rebates page. Rebate is essentially bonding. What you do is bond your assets and in return you get discounted wine. In simple terms, bonding really means you give assets to the protocol burns those assets, and it will give you wine at a discounted price. If you send grape, it all gets burned, and if you send meme, the protocol will use those meme to buy grapes and then burn. And if you want a more detailed explanation or how does rebate help with the PEG, then I suggest you go to the docs and go to PEG Health campaign. You can either read all this stuff or you can check this infographic made by our very own Fizzle. This is everything regarding phase 1. Now let's talk about what is the phase 2. Phase 2 will be migration of nodes from version 1 to version 2. Depending on when you watch this video, the migration of version 2 should take a few days. We have talked about version 2 a lot, but to sum it up, version 2 will have individual variable APR. It simply means that if you compound more than you claim, your APR will be higher than others. And if you claim more than you compound, your APR will be less than others. Let's talk about phase 3. Phase 3 has a little alpha in it. We will introduce a new token called XGrape. Now you would be thinking what exactly is XGrape. XGrape will also be called Grape Wine. XGrape will be based on MDB Plus or XUSD. It will have a small sell, buy and transfer fees which will be close to 1%. The fees will all go back to the pool. LB didn't share much information regarding this, but all we know is that you will be able to pair your grape with XGrape. XGrape will also have its own wine press. Now you would be thinking, how can someone get hold of XGrape? Well, that hasn't launched yet, but the procedure will go somewhat like this. The first thing that you will have to do is get some Grape Meme LP tokens. After that, you will have to stake those LPs in Magic Auto Compounders. After staking in the Magic Auto Compounder, the Auto Compounder will give you a token. You will have to deposit those tokens in the XGrape contract. And then pair those XGrape with grape. After that, put those grape in the wine press. To be precise, XGrape wine press. So XGrape will have a different wine press of its own. Not to be confused with wine press for wine. I'll share phase 3.5 or 4 or whatever you want to call it at the end of the video. So make sure that you stick around. And then phase 4 will be some small utilities for grape that will be all automated. Next up is the winemaker game. First is that the winemaker game will have more giveaways that will be paid out in grape. It will require you to be a top player in the game. Check your standings or other players' standings in the leaderboard. The competition is fierce, so make sure that you have the best strategy. Moving on, next thing to launch in the winemaker game will be a new tool. This tool will help you produce more vintage per minute. But the tool after that will be sort of upgraded staking or a whole new feature that will require a new contract. So make sure that you get your grape at vintage stacked. LB has also mentioned that he will be reducing the supply of the tools. And there have been a few suggestions regarding the price of the tools in the community. So LB has decided to reduce the grape price per tool slightly and increase the vintage price per tool. So make sure that you have your vintage ready to get your hands on the new tool. A very interesting insight was shared by LB in the last AMA. The hydrometer minting alone helped burn about 80,000 grapes. So as new tools keep coming in, more and more grapes will be burned. And with the reducing supply of the tools, I suggest you get your hands on as many of them as possible. And finally, when minting of the winters, LB mentioned that it will be a flash sale lasting 48 hours. So make sure that you have your eyes and ears peeled open. Let's talk about the very much anticipated version 2 nodes. There has been quite a few talks about version 2 nodes in the Grape chat. There has also been some confusions regarding the migration. Few people that claimed and staked were worried that they won't be able to migrate. But if you're someone who has claimed and staked in the vineyard, then you're fine. Also, if you have compounded once in a while, you are also fine. The only people that won't be able to migrate are the people that have claimed and sold everything since the beginning. And even if you want to claim your grape, you can use them in a lot of ways. You can buy lottery tickets in the wine press. You can use your grapes to recharge the winter's NFTs. And then there's also casino that you can play to awaken your inner degen. And now finally the alpha or phase 3.5 that I was talking about. There's going to be a wine pool that will be opened where you will be able to stake your wine. Now you would say that there's already winery where you will stake your wine. But the winery only pays out when you are above peg and it pays out only in grape. This pool will be a different pool. This pool can pay in stables or other blue chip assets. Now how will Grape Finance do this, you would ask? Grape Finance will use its treasury to yield rewards. The treasury can be used to do some leveraged yield farming, trading bots, etc. All those rewards that is generated from all these activities will be directly paid out to wine holders. And wine is pretty cheap right now. That will be one very major use case of wine. The exact mechanics of the wine pool hasn't been talked about yet, but it may be similar to gmx.io. This is where you stake the protocol assets to earn rewards in blue chips like ETH, AVEX, etc. So initially, if the wine pool works well or performs well, then the pool may run for quite some time. Just don't expect degen APIs like that of in the winery. Want to know more about one more alpha? Remember how I talked about Xgrape and what exactly it is? Now I'll be mentioned in the AMA that Xgrape will be used in Vinium as collateral. So that is another great news for grape holders. Alright guys, that is enough alpha for one video. I hope that you enjoyed this weekly update. See you all in the next weekly update video. Take care and peace.